People. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. And those of you still deciding, people used to look at me, look at us and see a punchline. They saw a flickering candle in a hurricane. They called you weak, didn't they? They patted you on the head, told you to stay in your lane, and laughed when you tripped. But here's the thing about being the little guy. People forget that even a tiny spark can turn a city into a charcoal drawing. They didn't realize that while they were mocking the drizzle, the clouds were turning black. You weren't drowning. You were becoming the flood. They mistake silence for surrender, don't they? It's the oldest joke in the book, and the punchline is always a scream. When you sit there, quiet as a mouse, letting them throw their little tantrums and their petty insults, they look at you and see a victim. They see someone who's been beaten down by the weight of the world, people. Someone who's just waiting for the final blow to fall so they can finally crumble into dust. They think your lack of noise is a lack of spirit. They think because you aren't barking back, you don't have any teeth left. But that's where the comedy begins. They don't understand the physics of a soul. They don't realize that while they're busy performing for the cameras and playing their loud, stupid, hollow games, you are undergoing a transformation that would terrify them if they had the brains to see it. See, some things in this civilized world are brittle. You drop them, they shatter. You step on them, these civilized people, they crunch. But then there are the things that don't break, they compress. Think about coal. It's dirty. People. It's common, it's stepped on and buried under miles of filth and darkness. The world piles on the pressure. Year after year, century after century. It doesn't give the coal any room to breathe. It just pushes and pushes and pushes. And the world thinks it's winning. It thinks it's crushing that little piece of black rock into nothingness. But all that pressure, those no's, all those, you're not good enoughs. They aren't destroying the coal. They're refining it. Civilized people. They're squeezing out everything that doesn't matter until all that's left is something harder than anything else on the planet. They think they're making a mess, but they're actually making a diamond. And a diamond, my friend, can cut through the very glass cages they try to keep us in. These civilized people, they call you weak because you don't scream when they hit you. They think strength is a loud mouth and a big ego. They think it's about who can shout the loudest in the town square or who can flex the most in front of the mirror. But that's just noise. It's a distraction. The loudest person in the room is usually the one who is most terrified of the silence. Because in the silence, they have to face the fact that they are nothing. They have reputations to protect, bank accounts to balance, and masks to keep polished. They have everything to lose, and that makes them cowards. They're fragile because they are invested in the lie. But you've already been through the crusher. You've sat in the dark and felt the weight of their world trying to flatten you. You've reached the point where the pressure can't go any further. And that is where the magic happens. When you have nothing left to lose, you become the most dangerous thing in the room. You aren't playing by their rules anymore because their rules were designed to break people who still care about their prize. When you stop caring about their prizes, their hits stop feeling like blows and start feeling like fuel. Your silence isn't a white flag. It's the vacuum before the explosion. It's the indrawn breath of a hurricane. While they are laughing at your weakness, you are becoming something indestructible. People, you are the storm they didn't see coming because they were too busy looking down at their feet. There is a delicious, wicked sort of freedom in being invisible, isn't there? People, when the world decides you're weak, they hand you the greatest weapon ever forged, their own arrogance. They look right through you like you're a window pane, and that is their biggest mistake. Being overlooked is a gift, wrapped in the rags of their contempt. They treat you like a piece of furniture, civilized people, a background extra in the grand movie of their lives. And because they think you don't matter, they stop performing. They let the mask slip. They leave the vault doors unlocked and their secrets scattered on the table like breadcrumbs. All because they think the little guy isn't smart enough or brave enough to do anything about it. It's a disguise they gave you for free. While they're up on their pedestals, basking in the spotlight and admiring their own reflections, you're down in the shadows, moving the pieces. They think you're just that guy at the back of the room, that woman who never says a word. They think you're harmless, but being harmless is just another way of saying unwatched. While they're busy being important people, you're busy being prepared. You're learning their weaknesses, mapping their hallways, and finding the exact spot where the foundation is starting to crack. They don't realize that the person they ignore today is the one who will be holding the match tomorrow. Think about it. The predator doesn't roar before it strikes. That's what the peacock does. The roar is for show. The silence of the overlooked is for the kill. They called you weak to make themselves feel big, but all they did was give you a front row seat to their own downfall. They didn't see the storm coming because they were too busy laughing at the clouds. They forgot that the most devastating things in nature don't always start with a bang. Sometimes, the most dangerous thing in the world is the person who has been told they don't count. Sitting quietly in the corner, waiting for the punchline. And trust me, the punchline is going to be a riot. Everyone is so terrified of breaking. They spend their whole lives walking on eggshells, terrified that one bad day, one heavy loss, or one cruel joke will finally crack them open. People, they treat their sanity like a precious porcelain vase, holding their breath every time the table shakes. But why? Look at me. I had a bad day. I broke. And look how much fun I'm having. What they don't tell you in those boring little therapy sessions is that breaking isn't the end of the story. It's the moment the protagonist finally wakes up. When you finally snap, you aren't falling apart. You're shedding a skin that was always too tight for you. That weakness they saw in you. That was just your old life, your old morals, and your old desperate need to be liked. All acting like an anchor. They thought the anchor was you. They thought that if they cut the rope, you'd sink to the bottom. But they forgot one thing: once the anchor is gone, the ship is finally free to sail wherever the hell it wants. When you hit the breaking point, people, the rules of the world suddenly look like what they've always been: a bad joke told by people too scared to face the chaos. The moment you stop trying to be fixed, the moment you stop trying to glue the pieces of your old, miserable self back together, you realize that you don't need to be whole to be powerful. In fact, people, the jagged edges are much better for cutting. They pushed you and pushed you, hoping you'd collapse into a heap of rubble they could sweep away. But instead, you became the landslide. You aren't falling, you're finally flying. And the wind feels incredible when you aren't fighting it anymore. The weak person they knew is dead, and in its place is something they didn't give permission to exist. You've embraced the chaos they were trying to use as a cage, and now you're the one holding the keys. It's not a tragedy, sweetheart. It's a metamorphosis, and the view from the other side of the crack. It's absolutely hilarious. They have the nerve to call you weak. That's the funniest thing I've heard all week. Let them spend 5 minutes in your head, bull. Let them carry the weight you've been lugging around since you were old enough to walk. They wouldn't last a second. They're like paper dolls, one drop of real rain, and they start to melt. They live in a world of soft pillows, participation trophies, and the delusion that they're safe. But you've lived in the basement of the world. You've been forged in a furnace they're too scared to even light. Strength isn't about how much you can lift. It's about how much you can take and still keep standing. People, they think they're strong because they have the power to hurt you. But true power is being the one who gets hurt and realizes it didn't kill them. It's that moment when you look at the person holding the whip and you start to laugh because you realize their worst isn't actually that bad. You've stared into the abyss so long that the abyss got uncomfortable and looked away. You've smiled through things that would turn their hair white. These civilized people, you've walked through the pouring rain of life so long that you've forgotten what it feels like to be dry. And you know what? You don't even miss the sun. That's not weakness, sweetheart. That's conquest. You have a high tolerance for the unbearable, and that makes you an apex predator in a world that's about to get very, very uncomfortable. They're afraid of a little discomfort. You've made a home in the agony, while they're busy building walls to keep the bad things out. You're already on the inside, comfortable in the dark. You've learned how to survive the very weather they're about to face for the first time. They aren't ready for the cold, but you were born in the blizzard, from drizzle to disaster. And now, the punchline, the part of the joke where the audience realizes they aren't the ones laughing. They're the ones being laughed at. They watched you for years, didn't they? They saw the drizzle. They saw the little tears, the quiet sighs, the way you lowered your head when they walked by. To them, it was just a bit of damp weather, annoying, Maybe, but nothing a fancy umbrella couldn't handle. Pull. They thought they could control the climb of your life forever. But they forgot how nature works. People. They forgot that every drop of rain that falls has to go somewhere. All that pain you swallowed, weakness they piled on your shoulders, all the times you were told to just take it. It didn't just vanish. It gathered, it pooled in the dark corners of your soul, turning into a deep, heavy, a black reservoir. And now the dam is starting to creak. The weakness they mocked has transformed into a terrifying electric pressure pull. You aren't just in the storm anymore, waiting for it to pass. You have become the atmospheric shift. You are the low-pressure system that makes their joints ache and their hearts race with a fear they can't quite name. The storm doesn't ask for permission, and it certainly doesn't apologize for the mess it makes. It doesn't care about their civilized schedules or their expensive windows. When the wind starts to howl, it doesn't matter how much money they have in the bank or how high their social standing is. The wind is going to blow them away just the same. You are the lightning that's about to illuminate their hypocrisy, people. And you are the thunder that's going to shake the very ground they stand on. When you finally unleash everything they tried to suppress, they won't be calling you weak anymore. They'll be too busy screaming. They'll be scrambling for high ground, realizing too late that they spent all their time mocking the clouds instead of building a boat. They wanted to see what happened when they pushed a weak person too far. Well, now they get to see the masterpiece they helped create. The drizzle is over, the sky is black, and the tide is coming in, and me, I'll be right there in the middle of it all, holding an umbrella and laughing my head off.